Stop everything you are doing right now and look at the maritime charts of the Strait of Hormuz, because 3 minutes ago, the American era in the Persian Gulf officially came to a violent and catastrophic end. You need to see this right now, because while the mainstream media is busy feeding you sanitized scripts about diplomatic tensions, the reality on the water is a total, unmitigated disaster for the United States military. My name is Scott Ritter. I've spent years in Marine Corps intelligence. I've been on the ground as a weapons inspector, and I've spent my life analyzing theater level conflicts where the difference between a maneuver and a massacre is measured in seconds. I'm telling you, the US blockade of Iran has not just been challenged, it has been destroyed. The title of this update promised you the truth about how China and Iran just shattered the US naval posture, and I'm going to give you the raw, unfiltered intelligence that the Pentagon is currently trying to classify. But stay with me, because if you click away, you are going to miss the most critical piece of information regarding why your bank account, your gas tank, and your country's security are no longer under American control. What happened 3 minutes ago wasn't just a skirmish, it was the execution of a grand strategic checkmate that has been decades in the making. To understand the gravity of this hour, you have to look at the context the experts on cable news won't tell you. For the last several months, the United States has attempted to enforce a maximum pressure blockade, positioning carrier strike groups at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz to choke off Iranian exports. We were told this was freedom of navigation. We were told our Aegis destroyers and our nuclear-powered carriers were an impenetrable wall. But while Washington was playing 20th century gunboat diplomacy, Tehran and Beijing were building a 21st century kill web. We saw the precursors. We saw the drone swarms in the Red Sea. We saw the satellite launches. But 3 minutes ago, the shadow war became a frontline reality. Right now, there is a shift in the regional posture that is unprecedented. We are seeing movement, not just of troops, but of high-end kinetic assets, that has turned the Persian Gulf into a shooting gallery where the US Navy is the target. Imagine the sky over the Strait of Hormuz at this very second. It's not the clear blue of a tourist brochure. It's a bruised, violent orange, choked with the smoke of intercepted decoys and the ozone of high-energy electronic warfare. In the command center of the USS Abraham Lincoln, the sirens have transitioned from a warning to a constant, rhythmic wail. The radar screens aren't showing one or two bogeys, they are showing wave 1, wave 2, all the way to wave 85 of an integrated strike package. This isn't just a drone attack, this is the Hormuz rupture. You see the streaks of light cutting through the atmosphere at Mach 15. These are the Fatah 2 hypersonic missiles, and they are doing something the mainstream media said was impossible. They are bypassing the SM-6 interceptors as if they weren't even there. The air is thick with the smell of burning fuel and the terrifying realization that the impenetrable wall has been breached. This is the central dramatic event of our generation. The US blockade has been physically pushed back. But here's what's even more alarming, and this is the part the media is terrified to touch. This isn't just an Iranian victory. While the missiles hitting the water and the sensors are Iranian-made, the brains of this operation aren't in Tehran. Every single hypersonic bird, every single autonomous swarm drone currently hounding our destroyers is being guided by a real-time encrypted data link from China's Yaogan satellite constellation. The eyes in the sky are speaking Mandarin. China has officially entered the fight, and they've done it by providing the kill chain technology that makes our billion-dollar carriers obsolete in a matter of minutes. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal regarding the state of our Fifth Fleet changes everything you thought you knew about American power. The full picture no one is giving you is that the US military is currently overextended to a breaking point. We have assets tied down in Eastern Europe, we have assets in the South China Sea, and now the front line in the Middle East has collapsed. Having spent years analyzing theater-level conflicts, I can tell you that when you try to be everywhere, you are nowhere. The Iranians know this. The Chinese know this. They have waited for the exact moment when our interceptor stockpiles were at their lowest to launch this saturation strike. But it goes deeper. Each layer of this crisis is followed by something even more alarming. As the U.S. blockade is shattered, the proxies are activating. We're not just talking about the Strait of Hormuz, we're talking about a simultaneous activation of every resistance cell from the Levant to the Bab el Mandeb. U.S. bases in Al Udeid and Camp Arifjan are currently under a Category 5 electronic blackout. They can't communicate with the ships, and the ships can't communicate with Washington. This is a total synchronization of chaos. And what is the mainstream media telling you? They're talking about unidentified technical glitches. They are lying. The truth, harsher than anything mainstream coverage will say, is that we are watching the controlled demolition of the petrodollar. By destroying the U.S. blockade, China and Iran are effectively telling the world the U.S. can no longer guarantee your security. If you want your oil, you deal with the new Silk Road. The stakes keep climbing. Every few paragraphs, the reality of the situation gets grimmer. This isn't just a regional skirmish, it's the beginning of a global economic collapse. As the ships in the Gulf stop moving, the insurance rates for global shipping are hitting 5,000% in real time. This is happening right now. This could drop at any hour. Exact numbers don't lie. We are spending $2.5 million per interceptor to shoot down $20,000 drones, and Wave 55 of this attack has just depleted the remaining magazine of at least two of our primary escort destroyers. Keep watching, because by the end of this, you will understand the zero option that the Pentagon is too scared to voice. We are looking at a scenario where the U.S. Navy is forced to choose between the total loss of a carrier strike group or a humiliating retreat to the middle of the Indian Ocean. This is the nuclear scenario of geopolitics, and it started 3 minutes ago. I've seen the intelligence manifests. I've talked to the people who are still in the thick of it. They are terrified. They are seeing electronic warfare signatures that shouldn't exist, signatures that suggest China has deployed cognitive jamming technology that doesn't just block signals but feeds our own systems false data. Our ships think they are being attacked from the north when the missiles are coming from the south. It's a hall of mirrors in a room full of explosives. Why is this happening now? Because the triple alliance of Russia, China, and Iran has realized that the American eagle is blind. We have spent 40 years building expensive targets while they have spent 40 years building cheap, lethal arrows. The truth is that the U.S. military is currently mission incapable in a high-intensity A2AD environment in the Gulf. We are bringing a 20th century mine to a 21st century slaughter. Stay with me, because what comes next is the part they really don't want you to hear. What comes next is a world where the Persian Gulf is a denied zone for the West. Imagine a world where gas is $15 a gallon, where your 401k is halved in a week, and where the US dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency. This is the payoff for the art of the deal era, a total strategic bankruptcy. The emotional variability of this situation is intense. You should be angry. You should be angry that our leaders have allowed our strategic depth to be evaporated. I feel that grief as a Marine. It sickens me to see our sailors placed in a kill zone without the proper magazines to defend themselves. But you also need to feel the urgency. Leaving this video now means going back to the inferior information that says everything is under control. It is not under control. The horizon is glowing, and it's not from the sun. The streaks of light are painting the sky. The 80 missile waves are a mathematical reality being crunched by our failing computers. This is the full picture no one is giving you. We have been evicted from the most important energy corridor on the planet, and we were evicted by an adversary that spent 1% of what we spent on our military. Now stay with me, because we are approaching the most alarming revelation of all. This isn't just about a blockade. This is about the shadow fleet. While the U.S. Navy was focused on the Iranian fast boats, a Chinese-backed shadow fleet of civilian tankers has already moved into position. These aren't tankers. They are mobile, modular launch platforms. They have surrounded our fleet under the guise of commercial traffic. 3 minutes ago, they dropped the facades. They are now part of the integrated kill chain. The specificity of this threat is staggering. We're talking about Wave 80 of Operation True Promise 4. We're talking about $50,000 per intercept math that has already bankrupted our theater strategy. Having spent years analyzing theater-level conflicts, I can tell you that when a superpower loses the ability to protect the commons, that superpower ceases to be a superpower. That is what happened 3 minutes ago. We are retreating. We are retreating because we have no choice. The 80 missile waves have proven that our Aegis systems are not a shield, they are a sieve. And as the tension builds, as the sirens continue to wail, the silence from our allies in Europe is deafening. They have already seen the writing on the wall. They are already making their own deals with Beijing. Keep watching because the what comes next is the most sobering reality of all. We are not just witnessing a war, we are witnessing the birth of a new world, a world where the Strait of Hormuz is governed by a committee in Beijing, a world where the American century is a footnote in a history book written in Mandarin. The truth, harsher than anything mainstream coverage will say, is that the US dollar is currently being sacrificed on the altar of a war we cannot win. In my time in military intelligence, we ran the war games. We called this the crumbling horizon. In every single scenario, if the US tried to enforce a blockade while China provided the targeting data, the US lost every single time. And yet, our leaders walked right into the trap. They walked into a saturation attack designed to deplete our SM-3 missiles in the first 72 hours. We are now in hour 73 and the magazines are empty. But wait, there is something even more shocking. The Y-20 strategic transport plane I mentioned earlier, it wasn't just bringing missiles. It brought the digital yuan server architecture. China is already setting up a parallel financial system in Tehran to process oil trades the second the US blockade collapses. This is the payoff. The war in the Gulf is just the kinetic cover for a financial coup. The US Navy has just issued a code red for the entire region. Not a drill, not a test, a total theater-wide code red. This means they are expecting a strike on a major hub, not a ship, but a land-based command center. The architecture of this crisis is designed to exhaust us, physically, mentally, and economically. We are being bled dry by $20,000 drones while our billion-dollar ships sit like ducks in a pond. The full picture is that we are no longer the policemen of the world. We are the victim of a global gang-up. As I wrap this up, remember the real-time nature of this. The streaks of light in the sky over Hormuz are the funeral candles for the old world order. Stay with me, stay informed, and stay ready, because the truth is the only weapon we have left. The mainstream media will continue to feed you the inferior information, but you know better. You've seen the 80 missile waves, you've seen the orange sky, you've seen the truth that no one else is giving you. The Gulf is the key, Iran is the hand, China is the mind, and the door is being locked from the inside. The full picture is only getting darker, and the truth is the only light we have left. The era of the American blockade is ending, and the era of the dragon and the lion is beginning. Don't say you weren't warned. The signs are written in the fire over the Strait of Hormuz, and the fire is spreading to every American home. Digital yuan is just the beginning. The real shock is what happens when the sirens finally stop, because that's when the new world truly begins. The blockade is destroyed, the chaos has begun, and the US has no answer. The clock is ticking and we are out of time. Keep watching. The truth is here, and it's harsher than you ever imagined. This is Scott Ritter, and I will be here tracking every Wave 55 strike and every hypersonic streak, because you deserve to know what the mainstream media is too afraid to tell you. The Strait of Hormuz is lost. Now we have to figure out how to survive the aftermath. Stay tuned. The next 24 hours will change everything for good.